And so Jennifer and I have sort of given you a little bit of just the building blocks as to when you're starting off and thinking about contemplating whether or not to launch into a jury trial. And so if you've decided now that this is where you're going to go, one of the things that I like to think of when I'm first approaching the preparation is what is the story or the narrative that I want the jury to have from the very beginning, because that's going to, of course, inform my opening and also aspects of the case that I want to highlight through the various witnesses. Madam Justice Dillon once said that the best memorable moments from jury trials that she presided over were always the lawyers that were able to just talk normally to the jurors and to tell them a story that drew them in right off the bat. And so that's something that you need to think about. How would you explain your case to a non-lawyer, especially if you're dealing with multiple different types of jurors from multiple different backgrounds? You don't know necessarily what their educational background is. Some of them may be fluent in English, but English might be their second language. And so there are certain ways that you're going to want to think about how to present your case in order to be the most effective and to be the most accessible to everybody. And so you're going to want to cut out legal jargon. So one of the things specifically that defense lawyers, criminal defense lawyers that we're really bad at, is we sometimes end up adopting police jargon. And so we say things like exit the car. That's just a weird, like normal people don't say exit the car, right? But we inherit that from the police. So don't start doing that in the way that you're questioning witnesses. Think about what words are you using? How normal can you sound? And really step back from what you would normally sound like, I guess, when we're talking to each other. And once you find that thread, that theme or that idea, if there's something specific about your case and the fact pattern, think about, how can I sort of weave that throughout the case so that, ideally, when you get to your closing, you're able to say to the jury, remember when I said this to you at the beginning, right? And how you can say that you've been able to weave that thread throughout the story. Conversely, that's also something that I pay attention to is the opposing side, Crown Counsel's opening statement. I'm making sure that when we get to the closing part, if there's something that they expected or anticipated to be able to prove in their case and they weren't able to do so, I'm definitely going to highlight that as well. And so you need to pay attention to not just the narrative that you're presenting, but also the narrative that Crown Counsel's proposing so that you can see how best to emphasize what you say are the strengths in your case and the weaknesses in their case.